Now it's time for Lefties Losing It, and let's hear from this member of the LGBTQIAA++ community who tells his followers, don't worry if your family voted for Donald Trump. Forget about them. I'm your mummy now.
If you're queer and your family voted for Trump like mine did, hi, hello, I'm your mother now. Just checking in. Have you drank water today? Did you eat? Did you take your meds?
Emphasis on the meds. And this next white dude for Kamala, who masqueraded as an unbiased journalist, could also do with some meds. Here is CBS journalist John Dickerson with Stephen Colbert just fighting back the tears.
How would you explain that to a 14-year-old today? How would you explain this election?
I'll try not to think about my boys, because...
Yes.
I can only imagine how embarrassed his poor sons are right now. Here's another lefty who is desperate to be a victim. Of course, they can never articulate what rights they have apparently lost. These people are so tiresome.
Knowing that I was born with more rights than I have now is a pretty crazy feeling. Knowing that what we're about to go through means the possibility of me losing more of my rights, and that being a real threat is insane.
Yes, insane is a word you should reflect on long and hard in front of a mirror, preferably. And this next lass could also do with some self-reflection.
I was just walking down the street to go get my medication because I'm out and I need it for today. And I saw a woman walking her 2 kids. And she had this look on her face. And I looked at her, we made eye contact, we both kind of nodded. Like we were both just devastated. And you could just tell in her eyes, I can't believe this country did this again. Why did I let myself have hope?
Oh, tiresome, so tiresome. Now time to check in on the ladies of The View, and today it's Whoopi who's taking a break from scolding the public about being concerned with cost of living, the economy. You see, she now gets it. She's just a working gal as well, struggling to make ends meet. We're all in this together, folks.
When you have one candidate who has been running for 12 years, who lies and changes things. I appreciate that people are having a hard time. Me too. Yeah. I work for a living. If I had all the money in the world, I would not be here. Okay? So I'm a working person.
There you have it. She's just like you guys. She's just struggling with mortgage payments and gas prices, except she's earning around $8 million a year. And that was back in 2022. It could be even more now. That's $666,666 every single month. According to that report, Joy Behar earns $7 million a year, and Sunny Hostin is on $1.6 million. Maybe that's why she's the angriest of the lot. Imagine Joy Behar out earning you by that much for doing the same work. Guys, you know what? All of that's fairly depressing. I think I feel a dance break coming on. President-elect Donald Trump's team is coming together, and Trump 2.0 will be uncompromising in delivering his MAGA agenda. These are all his people, thoroughly vetted, established histories. The first time around, he did have a few in his team who were rivals, critics. He thought it was a way of countering the anti-Trumpers to try to neutralise them. But the whole keep your enemies closer strategy is gone, thank God. And among his selections is Marco Rubio for Secretary of State. Here is Rubio being confronted by pro-Palestinian activists.
Senator Rubio, will you call for a ceasefire?
No, I will not. On the contrary.
Rubio,
are you filming it? I want you guys to get this. I want them to destroy every element of Hamas they can get their hands on. These people are vicious animals who did horrifying crimes, and I hope you guys post that.
And what about the civilians that are being killed every day?
Hamas should stop hiding behind civilians, putting civilians in the way. Hamas knew that this was going to lead to this. So Hamas should stop building their military installations underneath hospitals.
So you don't care that 15,000 have died? You don't care about the babies that are being killed every day?
Horrifying. I think it's terrible, and I think Hamas is 100% to blame. That's what I think. Make sure you post that, please.
Make sure you post that. Let's bring in documentary filmmaker and journalist Ami Horowitz. Ami, it's quite an appointment, and today we learned that Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk will lead the Department of Government Efficiency, two of the smartest guys in any room working together to cut government waste. That's quite a winning team.
Yes, it is. Si vis paros bellum, secure peace by preparing for war. That has been the saying through the ages, from Clausewitz to John Wick and now to Donald Trump. Welcome to the Donald Trump doctrine, as opposed to the Biden doctrine, which is war through cowardice, right? That's essentially what we had then, and this is what we have now. And I'm super pumped for it. Look, this is not a neo-isolationist policy that people were scared of. How do I know? Because the people who we appointed, and by the way, how do I know? Because we've seen this in the past. This is another continuation of the first Trump administration. We know we did. We know what happened. Look, this is not hard. Is he going to abandon Ukraine like people are trying to make us believe? No, of course not. He might hold them more accountable, but let's not forget that when did Russia invade Ukraine? During the Obama administration, during the Biden administration. When he didn't go after them was during the Trump administration. Guys, this is not hard stuff, okay? This is going to be a muscular foreign policy, which is going to essentially say peace through strength. That's the bottom line. And he's appointing phenomenal people. By the way, Pete Hegseth is now going to be Secretary of Defense. He's going to have Mike Huckabee as the ambassador to Israel. Friends of mine. I feel like a proud papa. It's wonderful. Look, as far as Vivek and Elon, look, generally, I'm not in favor of creating new departments to create more efficiency, but I think in this case, I'll give him a pass. Look, Elon Musk is the right guy for the right job. How do I know this? Just compare SpaceX to NASA, okay? SpaceX is 10 times more efficient and twice as fast as NASA. That when they have cost overruns, SpaceX has 1% cost overruns as opposed to 90% for NASA, okay? This is the man we need for this job. He created an entire industry, the electric car industry, out of his own mind. By the way, how is he not getting credit for that for the woke crowd? Of course he's not. He is demonized. Look, is Vivek one of the smartest guys in the room? Of course he is. Just ask him. I'm pumped. This is going to be great.
Now let's hear from Joe Rogan and comic Theo Von, both of whom did long-form interviews with Donald Trump, but both were of the left. Joe Rogan was a big Bernie Sanders fan. They've both seemed to have been red-pilled, and here I think Theo Von really nails what helped clinch the nomination and the presidency for Trump.
You want to hear something crazy? Trump, at the day of the election, Dana White told me he'd been up for 72 hours.
Unbelievable.
I go, how's that possible? He goes, dude, he's a freak.
The guy is as resilient. No one could go through all that. When the Justice Department started to him over, that's when a lot of people were like, you know what? The only thing we should be able to believe in this country is at least the justice system. And if they're him over,
right.
And then he got shot at a couple of times, dude.
Bit of blue language there, but you get the idea, Army. I think that nomination was his when that Mar-a-Lago raid happened, when we had all the lawfare, all the trumped-up charges. The Democrats thought if he was cast as a convicted felon, he'd be unelectable. And in the end, they just exposed what lengths they were going to go to try to clinch this election. And people weren't having it this time around.
They used the IRS and the Obama administration to go after people. And yes, that turned people off. I don't know how they don't get this and they don't understand this. When you try to demonize people, they will not follow you. This is really simple stuff. Look, I can tell you personally, when they try to frame Trump as a anti-Semite, as a fascist, as Hitler, and they try to convince Jews, okay, I'm a Jew. They tried this on me. It didn't work. I'm sorry. I'm not that dumb. When they tried to scare Latinos and they said, look, what is more racist than trying to convince people like Latinos or Jews that they have to vote a certain way because I'm viewing it that way, right? They create this manufactured, contrived controversy about Puerto Rico. Nobody bought it. They failed from beginning to end because why? Their policies are failing. They know that, they understand that. They had to come with something in order to knock Trump out and to get other people to follow them. But guess what, Rita? It simply did not work.
And on that manufactured outrage about Puerto Rico, the man who made the joke, because if you actually didn't see the rally, you would have thought Trump had said that joke about Puerto Rico and floating island of garbage. But the man who actually did make the joke, Tony Hinchcliffe, he has finally addressed it.
On my speech on free speech, I referenced Puerto Rico, which currently has a landfill problem in which all of their landfills are filled to the brim. I guess I'm the only person that knew about this. With that said, I just want to say that I love Puerto Ricans. They're very smart people, and they're smart enough to know when they're being used as political fodder. I apologize to absolutely nobody. Not to the Puerto Ricans, not to the whites, not to the blacks, not to the Palestinians, not to the Jews.
And it's refreshing approach to take, Army. If you've done nothing wrong, don't apologise.
Now, look, the massive and racist disconnect between the media and the Democratic Party was incredible, okay? Again, to expect a group of people to vote a certain way is by definition racist. How do they not understand that? That's the bottom line on this thing. Look, and by the way, to make it worse, they're doubling down on this insanity. I mean, you're now hearing people talk about how Latino men are exemplifying toxic masculinity. Guys, this is not the approach to take when you are absolutely losing among Latinos who are part of your coalition that won the last couple of races. This is not the way you handle it. They don't get it. They don't understand it. And you know what? Great. I'm glad, because all that's going to do is lead to a more entrenched Republican majority. Let's do it. Let's go for this.
Now let's hear from Nancy Pelosi. She played a key role in the quiet coup against Joe Biden. She's claiming now that Kamala's loss was what Biden's fault because he didn't step down sooner. And if Kamala had more time, she'd win.
Had the president gotten out sooner, there may have been other candidates in the race. Kamala, I think, still would have won, but she may have been stronger having taken her case to the public sooner. The anticipation was that if the president were to step aside, that there would be an open primary.
Army, who is she kidding? The longer Kamala had, the worse it was. I mean, they should have left it to the last minute and given her a week or two before people could work her out and see just how vacuous she was, how completely unprincipled. I think that is just bizarre from Nancy Pelosi, because whatever you say about her, she is normally a pretty savvy political operator. And if she's blaming Joe Biden for not stepping down sooner, that seems to be the wrong call.
Oh, my God. I mean, they wanted to give Americans more time to get to know the human Potemkin village we know as Kamala Harris. Are you kidding me? More time? The only reason why she got this close because they didn't really know her at all. That's the reason this wasn't even a bigger blowout. Look, this woman ran, let's not forget, she ran for the Democratic nomination in 2020. She had to pull out in 2019, 2 months before the first vote, because no one wanted her. Forget Americans. The Democratic Party didn't want her. But she was put in, obviously, as we know, because she was a DEI candidate. And by the way, that's not racist. That's just fact. Yeah, they wanted her. She wanted her. The Americans get to know her better. Oh my God, Nancy, count your lucky stars. They knew her as poorly as they did. That is crazy talk.
Well, who's going to be the next one for the Democrats? You look at the Republican side, and they've got a lot of impressive young talent. You can see who their potential candidates can be for the next 20 years. We talked earlier about Vivek Ramaswamy. You've got Ron DeSantis. You have obviously J.D. Vance. Their talent pool is significant there. And I'm looking at the Democrat side. Who do you see as the next one who they'll be looking to in 4 years to put them back in the White House?
You know, it's so interesting. This is actually the first time since 1992 that they haven't had a front runner 4 years earlier. No, there is no one. This is a significant, first of all, before they can choose who will be a front runner, the Democrats have to decide in which direction are they going to go. They have to decide whether or not they're going to move to the center, which will lead to more wins, or they're going to double down and move to the hard left because they're not as pure. And you hear it now already. You hear there's a disconnect. So half the people are saying in the Democratic Party, we didn't move to the center enough. But half are still saying we weren't giving all our all. We weren't pure to our values. Okay? That is a recipe for loss. I have one thing to say to you, Rashida Tlaib, 2028. I'm there for you.
Yeah, let's have the whole squad running together. Ami Horowitz, thanks for your time.